Hi guys, before I proceed, please like this video, turn on your notifications to receive updates whenever we make a post. Thank you. Saudi Arabia just raised a jaw-dropping 1.1 billion to help African countries struggling with refugees and displaced people. And who is among the top 5 countries on the list? Our dear Nigeria. You know, there was a time when Nigeria was known as the giant of Africa, right? Fast forward to now, and we are ranked as one of the poorest countries in the world. It's like the roles has reversed. Now we are the ones needing major aid. Saudi Arabia and other nations are literally pulling funds to save Nigeria and other African countries like Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso, and Mali. Can you believe it? How did we get here? Our government should be on the world stage for innovation, culture, and wealth, but instead we are making headlines for needing support just to keep our people safe and alive. It's mind-blowing and honestly heartbreaking. What's even wilder, this isn't just small-scale fundraiser. Major countries, agencies, and organizations have jumped in on this initiative, coordinating with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the United Nations. This is global, people. It's like the world sees the desperation that our leaders somehow ignore. So as we enjoy our lives and stay connected, let's not forget the reality so many Nigerians face every day. This is bigger than us, bigger than gossip. This is about the very dignity of our nation. And as much as we would love to keep it light-hearted, sometimes we've got to face the hard truth. But don't worry, loves, I've got more juicy updates coming up. For now, let's keep hoping for a Nigerian that doesn't need a saving, but stands tall on its own. Another one. Former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello is caught up in a money laundering case with the EFCC. But guess what? The court just adjourned the hearing to January 21st, 2025. So while we're out here counting down to the New Year's Eve, they are pushing his court case all the way to next year. Now I have to say this. When it comes to rounding up our young Yahoo boys, the EFCC moves like lightning bolts. Flash. They are out here raiding homes, parading people on the streets and harassing folks because they sprayed a few naira notes at a party. But when it's a big politician and millions of nairas involved, suddenly they need all the time in the world. Oh, and let's not forget that during the hearing, the EFCC's counsel was trying to get a plea of not guilty entered on behalf of Bello, even though he wasn't there. I mean, isn't it convenient? The man isn't even present and they are already trying to sort out a not guilty plea for him. But of course, his lawyer kicks against it, saying the prosecution can't just do that. So now, the court is stuck in this back and forth game while the rest of us are left wondering if justice will ever eventually be served. Honestly, with the way they keep pushing this case, they might as well just say they are adjourning it indefinitely because we know how this story goes. Before you know it, case dismissed. It's funny how the law works in this country, right? For the ordinary man, the law is swift and unforgiving. But when it's the big dogs, the big guys, suddenly everyone needs more time. Let's see if 2025 brings anything different. But between you and me, I'm not holding my breath. Another one. So here is what went down. During a ministerial screening in the Senate, we had a nominee, an intelligent, accomplished woman, ready to answer questions about her qualifications and her plans if appointed to office. But what does Sunday Omeh do? Instead of grilling her on serious topics, he starts complimenting her beauty. In the middle of a ministerial screening, a moment meant to be about national service, Omeh turns into a beauty pageant judge. I mean, can you imagine? This is supposed to be the moment where tough questions are asked about policy, leadership, visions, but instead it was like Miss Nigeria walked down the aisle twirl. While the nominee tried to stay professional, you could feel the awkwardness in the air. The senator's comments were met with some laughs in the chamber. But for the rest of us watching, not amused.
We have all listened to her. Nobody can fault her qualification to serve this country in any capacity. She's very intelligent, very, very charismatic, and very beautiful. You can see, I asked her to tone down her beauty when she comes in today.
Please,
Mr. President,
restrict your comments to her resume.
Her resume. It is there. Former beauty pageant.
You know why I'm saying that?
It is there. Most beautiful girl in Nigeria.
Senator Omeh. Senator Omeh, restrict yourself to her resume.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll go into social media and Google. I will ask a question. Who touched my Bianca?
We have all listened to her.
Now I have to ask, is this the direction we are heading? Where professional women, no matter how educated or qualified, get reduced to their looks in spaces that should be about intellect and leadership? Social media is buzzing with outrage, with people saying it's high time our leaders learn the importance of respect and professionalism. Many Nigerians are wondering if the Senate screenings are turning into a circus. One moment it's compliments, the next it's jokes. But where is the serious accountability? And you know what's sad? This isn't even the first time. In previous screening, we've seen senators tossing around jokes and avoiding real questions. So are we here to vet leaders or host a comedy show? This is why we are always asking for better from our leaders. We need screenings that dig deep, not ones that turn into beauty contests. It's 2024, people. Let's step it up. Another one. Nollywood actor and political activist Kenneth Okonkwo recently criticized President Bola Tinubu, suggesting that he should relieve himself of his position as Minister of Petroleum. Okonkwo argued that the president's dual role as both head of state and Minister of Petroleum isn't benefiting the country at all, especially given Nigeria's ongoing fuel crisis, inflation, and economic issues. He believed that Tinubu should focus on broader national issues and appoint a dedicated professional to handle the complexities of petroleum sector effectively.
And he said the problem is from the operating expenses because of lack of electricity and medical supplies. This thing he said rotates around these four ministries that I'm saying. Today is almost 8 days and the entire north has not had light. And you're still keeping a minister of darkness that I've told you that his only solution is that Nigerians should off their refrigerator. So what I'm trying to say is that I was expecting that the president should have sacked himself first as a minister of petroleum, being the worst ministry in the whole world. They met fuel at 195. Today is 1,200 and it's not even available. So we're talking about unaffordability, we're talking about unavailability. The same thing with electricity. Electricity tariff has risen so astronomically and it's not even available. And then we're talking about in the economy, macroeconomic stability. We're talking about a central bank that is increasing interest rates rather than decreasing it. Because what we are suffering is not demand pull inflation. We are suffering cost of production induced inflation. That is why the president of the Guild of Medical, field, he said, look, to import the medical supplies has increased, the price has increased by 500%. You know what it means? It means that 50% of Nigerians are now dying who are sick because they cannot afford to go to hospital. That's why he said 50% of the hospitals are collapsing. So rather than trying to rejig your cabinet within this area, you are rejigging your cabinet, saying you're sacking women and affairs. He has denied himself now of the services of a woman who would have sued the United Nations. for not, for cornering Nigerian money. So the issue is really very, 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 it's terrible.
Well, can you respond?
They're chasing shadows in this reshufflement. Nothing reasonable. Now, about Edu that you asked, it has told you the hypocrisy in the purported fight against corruption. The mere fact that you said you suspended somebody means there are reasonable suspicion that she compromised herself, compromised her office, and she engaged in corrupt practices.
No, I think the suspension at the time was to pave way for investigation.
So what's the investigation?
So that's the question.
What's the outcome?
So that's the question.
I said
the question
then.
is the outcome of that investigation has not been made public.
Right.
In the eyes of the public, she's already guilty. And she's been receiving all sorts of it. She had received all sorts of.
Ikumi, in this studio, I sat down and said that call for investigation was for optics. In this studio, is it not for optics? It's for optics. The thing is that lady was not sacked because she stole. That lady was sacked because she was not clever in stealing.
Let me
How
bring
can you allow people to fly from Kogi to Abuja?
Let me bring in.
In general, you see,